Association, and I just wanted to voice my concern about transparency. So you heard the people, the residents here moaning, and maybe that's because there is a concern about that. I had to learn about the vote on the 3-mile radius by reading the minutes. We, Camp Springs, came out to a meeting prior to that to express our concern for extending the radius, the impact area to 5 miles, because surely MGM is going to impact more than just 3 miles around around this area. And I don't even know if it's covering, if it's a 3-mile radius that goes in a circle. I mean, what is the 3 miles? Does it include Forest Heights? I'm not even sure what that 3-mile radius includes. But in any regard, I am very concerned about transparency, because that meeting, as far as I know, was not, the community was not given proper notification for that particular meeting. And I thought that we were going to be heard. We never heard back from anybody. I mean, we are a civic association, so somebody from the council surely could have called us and said, well, our thoughts about voting for a 3-mile radius is A, B, C, or whatever. So, you know, I just want, so I don't know how many people in here are in that 3-mile impact area, but there are many of us who are not.
If you remember, and by the way, we do have a map on the website where you can see exactly what that 3 miles is. It's on the website.
Okay, all right, I didn't see that.
What we did say, and I do remember when Camp Springs, they came and expressed that, and we were prepared to vote on it that night.
Right.
You remember, I tabled the issue and said in the next meeting, we will vote on it and take that up.
Right.
So that was about, you know, only probably days of, especially if you're going to do that. I get what you're saying. But we did want to give those 30 days for persons to look at it again, and that's why we tabled the vote that was actually.
Yeah, and I don't think there was a community notification for that particular meeting that you voted.
Okay, and I got to figure out, you know, it's hard to figure out if we don't have a budget for that, but how do we do that? We will do our best to direct everyone to the website.
Can you just, is there a quick explanation as to why there's just a 3-mile radius? Because I don't understand why we have to follow Maryland Live's model. I understand learning from them, but do we have to follow the same model when we vote on impact areas and other?
That was the vote of the body at a meeting where a vote, at that meeting where the vote was taken. They looked at some of the other concerns that they had, and frankly, that was the outcome of that. If anyone wants to speak to that, we can. We did say, however, that it was not in stone, and we would revisit that as we moved along, learned information, and kind of got some of the issues that we discussed tonight. Just kind of get out.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that, but it's highly unlikely that that would happen. And if there's much more monies are coming, I don't understand why we couldn't, the justification for not having a 5-mile radius in the first place. I mean, I just don't understand, because the appearance is that only Fort Washington is impacted by MGM, and so only Fort Washington, if you live or have a business in Fort Washington, will you benefit. I mean, that's the appearance, and since most of the people on the council, and I'm not saying, this is not directed towards the council at all, but it means certainly, you know, more than Fort Washington is impacted.
I would say this, I understand that, you know, originally 5 miles, I do agree that, and I know Susan, you said this earlier, and you didn't necessarily agree with it, but moving forward, I think clearly, you know, $3 million is probably, we hope at one point would be too much money to spend in this district. And it would have to be spread out there. So I can see that being the case that when you talk about it. One of the concerns I talked to my community meeting earlier was, you know, once upon a time there's a 10-mile radius thing, and all of a sudden stuff from Bowie was being paid for. And nobody wanted that to be the case. And so when radius were established that way, let's start off here, and like Ms. Pamela said, she did a fantastic job saying, if there's a need to prove that it is going to have an impacted area, I think this whole committee will be on board to say, let's make sure if this is a good group for the grants, or that's gonna impact the quality of life in this part of the county, and we'd be in support of that.
With the community being able to listen, we discuss it later, I would always say committee, that's what I use. But there was a point in your presentation in which you talked
They
about
started with 10,
exceptions
but it
that were
ended in
made
legislation
based on
with
A,
5.
B,
So how do they go from the
We
legislation
could
to 5 to
take
3?
it from that perspective, with that,
Yeah.
And stop giving political answers.
kind of middle ground between.
That would be